living in the moment, and the moment is the future.
Welcome to Sped Talk with Pam
and John,
also known as The Calm.
Before the Storm.
Our purpose is to elevate the conversation and amplify special education resources.
And our why is about making the impossible possible.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all today?
Doing well. How about you?
Oh, doing good. Doing good. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for agreeing to be on.
We're super excited to highlight SPEDTex. Man, y'all have done amazing work for many years in Texas, and now it's like SPEDTex on steroids. All the cool things that are like all the resources and all the, for educators and parents. So like really, we're the ones that are thankful. Thank you.
Oh, definitely. We are glad to be here. It's our pleasure actually to be able to help so many parents and educators and community members, just answering questions, providing resources. That's what we do. And it's fun to get all that done, because it's great to have a place, a one-stop shop, so to speak, where if you don't have anybody else you can ask, you can contact SPEDTex and we will help you find the resources, solutions, answers, who you need to contact. So I think it's a great resource for parents and educators just to know who they can call.
For our listeners who don't know what SPEDTex is, would you please explain it to them?
Definitely. SPEDTex is the Special Education Information Center for the state of Texas. We are a collaborative project between Region 10 Education Service Center as well as Texas Education Agency. Our goal is to provide information and resources to assist families, educators, community members, or anyone who has an interest in helping students with disabilities across the state of Texas.
That's a mouthful. That's a lot of good going on right there.
Definitely.
Well, we are joined by Dr. Grace Whitley from SPEDTex and from Region 10. And so we're diving into this SPEDTex thing. Pam, jump in. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I was just going to ask, Gracie, how long have SPEDTex been in existence?
It's been around, I think, since around 2014 or maybe a little bit before then, but we've been around about, I would say, over 6-7 years.
Yeah, I remember when TA was discussing, they didn't have a name for it. It was just a place for parents to call or districts to call or whomever to call and get resources. And I can remember the conversations at the ESCs were like, who would want to sign up for that? And I was like,
well, I think having that one-stop spot where parents can call and not, have to push this button for that and this button for this thing and this for that thing. It's just one place, ask your question, and then we'll take the sorting on the back end from there to figure out what you need. So it's a pretty great option to have in a state, one place that parents can get their questions answered about just the general topic of special education. And if their student is not in special education and they just need help, what do I do? So we're even able to fill those questions that individuals may have just with regard to general concerns about their child. We get contacts from adults that are asking us questions about, my kids are going to college, or hey, I just graduated and I'm going to college. How can I get help on the campus? Who's my person, or what department should I contact? So even though we're working with questions from the little cute, infant babies all the way up to those students in high school, some of our babies that do graduate high school get out, and as adults, they have questions as well. Okay. They reach out to SPEDTex. So it's really a full circle service, so to speak.
That sounds really awesome. I know the idea of just having one place to call or one place to email or whatever, just to get information is so vital. I can't date myself back and just remember parents' frustration from having to call one place and they say, no, you need to call another, and it's like, by the time you get to that fifth person, the frustration level is so high, then you're like, okay, you have to kind of, back down with them and go, okay, I understand the frustration, but now just to have SPEDTex available as that one-stop shopping, it's really, really awesome.
Definitely. And, from an educator perspective, we've been teachers before, I think all of us that are participating today, and just as an educator, it can be frustrating trying to figure out where's that regulation. I know such and such, you know, it falls in this category, but I can't quite lay my finger on it. They'll contact us as well and say, hey, what are my options for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever that situation is. And our consultants are skilled at searching the legal framework on their behalf, or Texas Education Code or Texas Administrative Code, to find that resource and information that they can share with teachers or administrators when they're looking for that needle in the haystack, so to speak, to address whatever the concern is that they are facing as they try to work and help parents as well. So I think it's, once again, just a great place. You don't know what to do, contact us.
The parent is calling you and saying, I need 1, 2, 3, 4 because I have these questions. What would be some of the examples and reasons why they would come to you, and what types of services and support can SPEDTex provide?
SPEDTex on our website, we have a wealth of resources on our website. Under the category of parents, we provide information about one of the hot topics, I'll say supplemental special education services at the moment, information about COVID, statewide webinars, dispute resolution, and under general resources, we provide information about academic topics such as accommodations, what's the difference between accommodation modification, things about ARD committees. When can I call an ARD? What do I do if I disagree with an ARD? Assistive technology behavior and so forth. And on our website, an individual parent or educator would find videos, one-page documents, links to different agencies that have things that are tangible that they can put their hand on. But we also go through, as you mentioned, that regulation will say the legal framework, or we'll go through the parent's guide to the ARD process and highlight the part of that information that's relevant to the parent's concerns. And we'll email that directly to the parent so that they don't have to necessarily go through that document themselves. So our website houses a wide variety of commonly asked questions that parents and educators can go on their own and sift through that information as well. But they also have the concierge service, so to speak, of contacting us. We will fish through that for them, highlight it and narrow it down and send it to them. So when they get that email from SPEDTex and they open that resource, we're going to say in our email, see such and such page, the highlighted section. They can go straight to it and have exactly what they need.
So on the educator side, can you describe in detail, as you did with the parents, the educator resources that are available?
Yes, definitely. Under the educator side, in addition to the other resources that are available on the parent side, we highlight general resources as well as information about STAR and the Student Success Initiative, school family community engagement activities that school districts can reference should they need that information, secondary transition in Texas, as well as we provide links to surrogate parent training, as well as the statewide technical assistance networks. SPEDTex also provides for parents and educators procedural safeguards and the Parent's Guide to the ARD process, now available in 24 languages. Before we had 20, now we have 24 languages. So when our educators are having meetings with parents, ARD meetings in particular, they're able to come to the SPED website, SPEDTex website, and download those resources for sharing that information with parents. The other resource that's common to both parent and educators is a video gallery. So on that video gallery, parents or educators can access videos that talk about, and I'll use ARD committee as an example. When can a parent request an ARD? What if I can't attend an ARD meeting? What can I do? 5 tips to help someone prepare for an ARD. Under evaluation, it talks about how to request an evaluation. So just a wealth of resources that educators can access and share with parents as they engage with them as well.
Okay, I'm impressed by the 24 languages.
Yeah.
I'm impressed, I have to say.
Yeah, I
we
would
try to add additional languages each year. So this year we added 4 more, and so that brought our total to 24. So we're just trying to make sure we have the information that school districts and parents need so they can particularly be aware of what their rights are in special education.
And I heard you say that's the procedural rights documents. Is that
Yes.
is the parent's guide to the ARD?
That's both of those documents. So when we are on the SPEDTex website, I will just for an example show when we come here. So we're looking at the Notice of Procedural Safeguards, which discusses the rights of parents under IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So this is where we have them listed. So it runs from English, Spanish, Arabic, Burmese, all the way down through Urdu, Vietnamese. So we have been able to continue to add to this database of languages just to ensure that our school districts can quickly access that information as well as parents.
I would imagine that just these two resources alone, having them translated into that many languages is a huge asset to LEAs around the state, you know, that just otherwise wouldn't know where to go, or they would have to spend a lot on translators just to create these translated documents. So that is kudos to SPEDTex and to TEA for getting this deep into those translated documents.
Thank you. We also, in addition to that, we try to work towards having resources available in English and Spanish on our website. So there are some additional resources that are in both languages. One other multilingual resource I will share that we do have on our website right now, the school family community engagement. When we go on that webpage, we have, let me see if I can get it here. We have our COVID family videos. So let me go backwards where I can find that information. So Texas Education Agency created COVID-19 family videos that provide parents some additional information, and we'll say, example, ARD process. So under the ARD process, this particular video series provides parents with an overview of the admission review dismissal meeting process. And then once that video plays, and let's say a parent has a question, well, I really am getting ready for an ARD meeting. I'd like to know, what are some suggestions? What can I do? So we have a video here that shares ideas with parents about what they can do to prepare for that ARD meeting. What can they do during an ARD meeting to be more active in terms of their participation? And then what are some things they can do after the ARD meeting to help follow up and continue to build those relationships with the school? In addition to that, TEA also created some additional one-page documents that provide takeaways, so to speak, for a parent. So a parent could download that PDF and have that same information from the video in their, pretty much at their fingertips, that they can use as a quick reference. So we have that particular video that highlights the ARD meeting, and right now it is available in English and Spanish, but in the next coming days, it will also be available in Arabic, Vietnamese, and Chinese as well. So we are working towards increasing the resources that we have in the variety of languages on our website. And that's just one. The other ones deal with the complaints process, providing an overview for parents about what is the complaints process in general, what are their options that are available, as well as providing them links to the Dispute Resolution Systems Handbook, the Special Education Complaints Process, just some general takeaway tips that parents can quick reference as well.
That just even that one pager does a great job of helping parents understand, okay, well, what exactly is it that I could report on? And then what are the things that I need to handle more at the local level and aren't necessarily, you know, things that I report on regarding IEP or special education compliance. So wonderful document. You know, I love also the way SPEDTex has created these multiple platforms, multiple ways to access this information, not just through multiple languages, but also through video vignettes and then one-page documents. And because we all go about, you know, internalizing this information a little differently. That's wonderful. If I was a parent and I had questions, do you recommend just kind of going onto the website and looking around, or calling and making contact up front saying, hey, I have a question? Or does that really just depend on the parent?
Well, we recommend calling SPEDTex. If you have a question at any given hour, you can contact SPEDTex multiple ways. A parent can pick up the phone and contact SPEDTex. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Our off-day schedule follows that of TEA in terms of holidays. Parents can also come to the SPEDTex website and they can contact us. There's a form that says contact us. So a parent, let's say it's after hours and they have a question and they don't want it to slip their mind, they can come to that contact us and fill out this form that's on our screen that allows them to put their name, their contact information, and leave us a message. And when our agents return to the office, they promptly call that parent back or stakeholder and address that particular concern. The other option that's available for contacting SPEDTex, of course, is through email. Our email address is inquire@spedtex.org. But also at the bottom of our screen, when a stakeholder goes to our website, there is a live chat box. So a stakeholder can type in their question on the live chat. And if it's during our office hours, our SPEDTex agents will answer them promptly and provide the resources directly through chat. So there are multiple ways a parent can reach out. Phone 855-773-3839, email, or through live chat, or using our contact form on our website.
So parents definitely can't say, oh, I couldn't find them, because you guys,
No.
you have definitely provided various ways that they can definitely get in touch with you. So can you give us a little bit of background as to why SPEDTex was created?
SPEDTex, my opinion, was created to fill a need for parents to have, or educators to have a place where they can go to address their concerns. SPEDTex, you can contact us anonymously. You don't even have to share with us your name or contact information. You can just call SPEDTex and ask a question and not give any identifying information. So it is really a safe haven where you can come and ask questions and get resources to address concerns that you may have with regard to special education.
The anonymous part is interesting, and I'm wondering if there are families out there that are aware of that could have questions that, you know, saying that you are a safe haven. I think that, you know, if parents knew more about it and knew more about the process, I think you would be receiving a lot more phone calls.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think that I used to be a SPEDTex consultant on the phones on a daily basis. And in our welcome address, you know, to our parents, and we ask for our stakeholders when they're contacting us, we help them with their concerns. But there is an understanding even at the beginning of that phone call where, you know, it is optional for them to share that information with us, because the heart of the matter is we're here to help. And how do we need to do that in a manner that's most comfortable for the stakeholder? That is our goal.
So for a parent that wants to contact anonymously, I guess it would be good for them to know, hey, or even an educator, you know, listen, you have that option, just invoke that option when you call or when you reach out. Look, I would like to remain anonymous, you know, and then that information will be protected. Let's say a parent or an educator or stakeholder had reached out and wasn't really sure about that, maybe missed that step, and maybe the information was collected, maybe their name and contact information was collected. Is it protected in any way, or is that like public records type thing that we keep data, or, you know?
No, there's no way we know a stakeholder's name unless they give it to us. We have no other way of knowing. So it is, you know, thank you for calling SPEDTex. How may we help you? And then they proceed to share what their concern is. We proceed to share resources. And then at some point in that call, we may ask, you know, would you mind sharing? But the stakeholder has the option to not share, but we have no other way to collect information unless someone shares it. And yes, that information is not divulged in terms of who contacted us or that type of thing. So that's held in confidence.
Dr. Willie, I wonder, with you being involved with SPEDTex for quite some time, are y'all, I know you're capturing data on, the number of people making contact and whether maybe I don't know if you're keeping up with, the number of parents or caretakers versus, educators. I mean, is there good data that you have in those areas to kind of inform how you might kind of just get this out to more folks and where we might be missing folks and such?
What we look at in terms of areas, should someone, as I said earlier, they don't share certain information we do not have. But we utilize our information, just the general category of a call, not the content of a call. We use that information to share with our ESCs what the concerns are, in the area just by category. So example, if a person had a question about what are my options if I disagree with the ARD committee, that would fall under a category called ARD committee. And so let's say we had that question 10 times from Region 10 area. So when the Region 10 director gets that information, they would be able to see, hey, we're having some concerns about ARD committee meetings in general. We may want to look at what trainings are we providing in our ESC area to help support our LEAs to be sure that they are aware of the procedures associated with our committee meetings in general. So the information is simply just categorized and shared categorically with our ESCs in particular, who have the option of sharing just categories with their teams to see how can they support LEAs in terms of them having the knowledge and information they need to be of assistance to parents, but no details.
So in the time that you have been part of SPEDTex, I'm sure that the numbers of calls comes in, the concerns that come in, has that been gradually increasing? Is there a high volume of parents that are using this, educators that are using this? The data that you're tracking and you're sharing, is it also being used to build resources, I guess is my question.
Yes, that's one of the ways that we use it. An example, you see the complaints process tip sheet, the ARD meeting essentials tip sheets. We also created one about resolving issues with your child's school to provide tips for parents. So SPEDTex itself does use that information in collaboration with TEA to see what additional resources do we need to build out to offer in supporting LEAs and parents. Another way that SPEDTex gathers information, we do some collaborative projects with Partners Resource Network, and we do focus groups. And we've had lots of parents and educators participate in those focus groups when we do statewide webinars with Partners Resource Network. So that's another opportunity for parents anonymously to share information and concerns about what's on their mind. And that information as well is used to help build out resources as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that school and family community engagement piece and that Partners Resource Network, that connection. It's been really powerful how I've seen Partners Resource Network kind of, along with ESCs, kind of reevaluate our relationship and really look at how we can work in alignment and kind of send a parallel message but create supports maybe that go more generally speaking to different stakeholders, with Partners Resource more parent oriented, and with educators, with ESCs kind of more the educator route, although we do dip into each other's lane, obviously more and more these days. But can you talk a little bit more just about that partnership, that stakeholder kind of meeting, that, what does that all entail?
Partners Resource Network, we collaborate with them to bring resources to parents. One of those resources is our statewide webinars. And statewide webinars, those are based on topics and concerns that Partners Resource Network hears about, SPEDTex hears about, to get information out to parents to help them support their children and also to help them work more effectively with educators. Example, in previous year, there were concerns we would hear about in our focus groups. Parents had concerns about, well, who should we talk to in the district about this, or who should I talk to about, whatever that particular concern may be. So we were able to collaborate with TEA as well as Partners Resource Network's team to create a resource that parents can use to know who to talk to at their school. So that document is called Resolving Special Education Issues with Your Child's School. Who has the information you need? So it walks through what can the teacher provide, what can principal, evaluation personnel, SPED director, what can each one of those individuals provide at the school? And then we also provide examples of what do I say? So just like conversation starters, because sometimes you have an issue, but you don't quite know what to say. We were able to collaborate with Partners Resource Network and TEA to come up with that particular document. And then the following year, we were able to partner with the Dispute Resolution Department at TEA to turn that into a webinar to provide parents even more information. So that's just an example of how we're able to work with Partners Resource Network, listening to the concerns that they're hearing about, as well as what we're gathering to come together and partner with TEA and Region 10 to bring information that's helpful to parents and also resources educators can access in order to help parents that they see on a daily basis.
What have been the greatest challenges for SPEDTech, for the SPEDTech team? Or have there been any challenges?
Well, I don't ever like to say never. I can say that we have been blessed, and we have a great team at Region 10. We have great support from Texas Education Agency and a great partnership with Partners Resource Network in terms of, and our ESCs, Education Service Centers, in terms of all of us working together. When there's a need, we know we can contact, an ESC rep if we need that at the local level, representative, to be that extension arm of SPEDTex. So we've been blessed to just have a nice village. I'll just say that. And even the support of parents and educators spreading word of mouth about SPEDTex. We include those individuals as our supporters. So we've just been blessed. So I don't have any challenges that I can speak of.
That's great.
I think we would all like to say that
I
eventually.
know.
We don't have any challenges. Everything works beautifully, right? Some of us are not so lucky.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Evan.
Well, I was going to chime in and say that while, yes, Dr. Whitley shares that, there haven't been any real challenges yet, that as someone who works in the same service center as her, that's not just due to luck. She provides tremendous leadership, problem-solving skills, organizational skills, and the team that she works with and works for have really prioritized and emphasized making sure that this runs effectively and smoothly for schools and for families.
And that in itself would be huge, having the right person to run with it and to lead and to ensure that everything is running smoothly. Definitely hats off and kudos to you, Dr. Whitley, because without someone with your skills and ability, I'm sure this wouldn't be as successful as it has been. So what are some things that you would like to see differently about SPEDTex? I mean, what not necessarily making some changes, but moving forward, what are some things that you envision in trying to either add to it or trying to adjust, make the adjustments to it? I mean, have any of those thoughts, have any of those ideas kind of come across, and can you share some of those with us?
Well, I think the important thing is to remain open-minded and remain flexible and fluid to be able to respond to the changing environment. I think COVID-19 has thrown ideas into the mix for all of us, but SPEDTex is an organization that's a collaborative project between Region 10 and Texas Education Agency. So at this point, I can just say that we're always looking ahead to see where improvements or growth can occur to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our stakeholders in the most efficient manner. So we're always looking at our technology. We're looking at, how can we make this easier to access? How can we decrease this number of clicks? Should we take, that particular resource, as John mentioned earlier, and put it in a different format so it is easier to access? So changes are things that come about in SPEDTex. It's an ongoing daily type process that we look at in terms of how we're going to improve, but those improvements are made in collaboration with Region 10 and TEA as a whole. So I don't have a roadmap necessarily that I can lay out at this time, but I can say TEA is very supportive and responsive to the needs of our stakeholders. And great partners with us to work on this project. So we just try to stay fluid, open-minded, and ready to pivot where needed.
Well, I'll jump in real quick and say that as a former special ed director for an SSA, I had used SPEDTex, and I had family, parents and families that use SPEDTex. I've been with ESC for 4 years now, but prior to that, and I mean, I share SPEDTex with our directors at Region 12 every chance I get, and I share it with as many stakeholder groups as I can. I think this past year has really been paramount for SPEDTex, just all the new resources. I'll tell you, they're exceptional. And I walk my directors in our SPED leadership academies and forums through them just so they can get a hands-on approach, because I think a lot of times we have so many resources out there and we're like, oh, that's great, but making that connection, this is a time that I need this resource. And boy, the power, if I can get this in the right hands of the right people. And so I see SPEDTex as like a heavy hitter in Texas these days. And so I'm just very blessed to be able to share it with our directors at Region 12. And I know liaisons, we share it across the state. And so just let us know any way we can continue to support SPEDTex, the initiative, the products, the process. And I know we'll jump at the chance to do so.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. I think as a side note, we received from one of the universities, they had given their graduate students an assignment of something about special education. And so they all got the answer right. And the professor was kind enough to send us an email and say, thanks so much, SPEDTex. My students, how'd they do it? They said they call it SPEDTex. So that was great to know that even at the university campus, the educators that are in training are becoming more aware of SPEDTex and are able to reach out to us with their questions. So we thought that was a great chuckle to have.
A new source to get answers for
yes, that's what we do,
cool.
Resources, and they took advantage of it. Resourceful college students, who knew?
College students
Exactly.
in the education field, remember SPEDTex to get answers for
Exactly.
your assignments.
Don't
That
be
is pretty cool.
Don't be Googling it. Just call it SPEDTex.
And that's exactly what they did. They did not Google.
I
They
love it.
called us, and since they can call anonymously, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And they called us and got what they needed. So the professor, when she figured it out, she shared that compliment with us for being able to help them out.
That is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Don't be surprised if a math equation comes your way then. Can you help us solve this problem here?
Well, it has to be special ed related. We need some accommodations and modifications with that math. We will connect them to the right place.
Well, some of that new math, us grown-ups, we need some of those accommodations and modifications for it. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Definitely. Well, we'll find a resource for you.
Well, I definitely wanted to add to what John was saying earlier as far as sharing the resources. As a liaison, I can say that the school community family engagement pieces, the videos regarding how to play nice with parents, how to play those videos in working with parents with students with disabilities, I've shared those a lot. School districts are asking, so what can we do to increase family engagement? What can we do to make families more involved? Those videos have been wonderful. And so I have shared those with every district that I've gone into that we've helped with self-assessments this year, because that was part of some of the things that districts had to do. And by sharing those videos, they've already come up with plans on, oh, you know what, this summer you're going to watch this video, and then we'll do a PLC and we'll talk about it. And then for the next month, the first month of school, we're going to share this video, and then we'll do a PLC. So I've been able to do that, and these resources have been wonderful. And so for that, I say thank you, because otherwise we have districts contacting us all the time saying, what can we do to increase family involvement? And you guys have some wonderful resources. So yay, kudos again to you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. And even as we're supporting our parents, there are some LEAs who may be in need of resources to help educate their parents, or to create those in-house libraries, so to speak, or a page on their website with information for parents. They're always welcome to link to the SPEDTex website, as we're constantly updating that site to include more information and more resources for their parents to access as well.
That's fabulous to hear. And that's great to know, because I see, wow, what a great resource for LEAs across the state that say, oh, we could link them to our website. Like, yes, you
Yep.
could. Hey, parents, here's your links. And by the way, SPEDTex is a great link to go to, you know,
That's
and
it.
so that's really neat to hear. Well,
But even-
Pam, you got more
Yeah,
to,
I was just going to say, even thinking about that, even looking on the general education side, in special education, you know, we know what we're talking about, but we're about the only one who knows what we're talking about.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And,
I was going to say, I don't know that I know what I'm talking about sometimes. So.
But, you know, for general education, you know, especially new teachers who have to attend an ARD meeting for the first time, just think about, you know, coming in fresh, not knowing, and then you're sitting in this meeting and you're supposed to be sharing information about a student and you're not even quite sure what it is you're supposed to be doing. And just looking at the resources that are on Spedtec would definitely benefit even teachers, you know, be it they're new or even veterans or, you know, just anybody in the field who really want to understand the art process from a standpoint of this is not someone else telling you what to do, but doing your own research and really looking at what is this thing in what is this thing we call special education in Texas, and what's my role in special education for assisting students.
Yeah, definitely. One of the, I think, valuable because there's lots of value there. I was talking about school districts connecting to us. We also, of course, connect to our statewide technical assistance networks. And so even when we're looking for resources to train our teachers, and I'm just using this as an example, since Pam kind of went down that path, when we have educators or individuals who aren't sure, they don't have that background in special education, on our SPEDTex website, instead of trying to figure out what's the name of that network and the network and the network, but they just come to Educators Corner and that statewide technical assistance networks. I mean, there are connections there. To example, Child Find Evaluation and Art Supports Network. As y'all know, they have a wealth of resources for educators to learn more about that Child Find process evaluation. There's even a training called ARD 101 that walks through the basics of an art process, and it's just linked right there. So it's kind of like from that one spot, hey, I can get to all these other different trainings and resources versus trying to figure out where they all are individually. So that is something that can be of help to general educators as well, because we want everyone to know that they're welcome to call SPEDTex. Any questions that they may have, we are happy, of course, to help, whomever that may be.
A couple of things that I wanted to point out and highlight on the website, because I'm on the homepage right now and taking a look at it, is I love the conference and events tab that you guys have there. You guys are showing right now, you know, the Texas Autism Conference that's taking place later on this month. So I'm guessing from this right here, any events, any conferences that you are aware of, any state-related conferences, you guys highlight that on your webpage as well?
Yes, definitely. That's our page for highlighting those particular events for any conferences, as our ESCs share those with us and our networks share them. Typically, our events are parent focused on that particular conference page, and so we really want to highlight those. There sometimes we get some that are educator focused that we post those as well, but having that on the home page, because sometimes folks are just looking for an event or training or whatnot that they want to go to. And since we're on the lines of training, if someone were to go to the parent resources page, one of our most valuable ways of getting information out, particularly to parents, is through webinars. Oftentimes parents have limited time to go places and sit in terms of conferences, but they may have an hour or 45 minutes they can give us to listen to some information that may be relevant or helpful to them as they take care of their family, and they can do that in the comfort of their home. Statewide webinars, we partner again with Partners Resource Network. Some of these are live streamed on Facebook, so they can watch them in the moment, or once they're over, we have them recorded on the SPEDTex site so that they can come back and gather that information or revisit that information for clarity. And oftentimes when we do webinars, we do provide that webinar in English and in Spanish.
Okay, the other tab that I was looking at also was the Get Involved and Sign Up Today. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
This particular opportunity is for individuals to sign up to participate or volunteer in a focus group or an advisory committee should TEA be looking for individuals to serve on a committee to address a particular topic that comes up, it affords an opportunity for individuals to provide feedback and input to help fuel our efforts for continuous improvement. So to become a part or in that group of individuals who are able to volunteer or even join our mailing list to receive updates about new resources that are posted or new events that are coming up across the state, they can fill out this form, and basically it is just an email, name, first, last, that's required. They would need to, of course, let us know what role, if they're a parent or educator or community member, student, fill that out and tell us what their areas of interest are. Are you interested in behavior information, art process information, just some general interest points? After they indicate that, let us know if they would like to volunteer to serve on an advisory committee or a focus group, participate in that, or if they just simply want to join our mailing list and just get our newsletter that will provide information about updates that are coming in terms of resources, or as I mentioned earlier, any trainings that are coming up across the state.
I love that. If you want your voice heard, sign up, or if you want to stay in the know, then sign up. So either way, this is a great opportunity for people.
Or if you want to do both, sign up.
Or if you want to do both. There are some people that are ambitious, very ambitious.
Oh yeah, but at the least, if someone did not have that time commitment where they wanted to participate in a committee or focus group, please feel free to sign up to join our mailing list. And then that way, as soon as a hot new resource hits and we send that newsletter out, you will be in the first to know that it is now available.
So these advisory committees, focus groups, I know this is more geared towards parents, but does that include educators also? Does that include, is that open for everybody? Sign up, and if we need someone in your role, that stakeholder role, then anyone would be contacted?
Yeah, it is up to, example, the committee, let's say it had 5 or 10 members, so however that choice would be made from the database. But yes, it would go pretty much by role. There is a form that lets individuals indicate what their role would be. So example, if the focus of the committee was parents, then we would, sort it and pull out the parent piece. There are some people who happen to be teachers, but they're also the parent of a student with a disability. So sometimes we have dual roles in life, but the information is able to be sorted based on the needs of the committee.
When I was working with TEA, was the state parent lead, and if they were having a focus group and were needing parents or needing educators, it was like that all call, and it was just sometimes it was a struggle just to find people, especially to travel. At that time, was traveling to Austin, and then having to leave, especially for the parent of a child with disability, and having to leave that child at home. But now to have it here on the website on SPEDTex is really great. So keeping that, a list of people who was interested in serving in committees, on committees, is really great.
Definitely a more proactive,
Right.
I think, state agency approach, and definitely Region 10 and all the awesome things coming out of Region 10, ESC, and our ESCs across the state, definitely kind of striking that more proactive approach to gaining feedback and having that two-way conversation going on. I had one last question that I just wanted to throw out there, and that is, when we talk about stakeholder groups, more and more we're including the students in those groups, right? Like, how are we getting that student voice? And I didn't know if there's been any talk, if there's a mechanism by which, other than, the parent, right? We get that parent's feedback, but if there was, I know some of our networks have kicked around the idea of how can we get, that student voice into these processes. And so, Dr. Whitley, I didn't know if you had anything to say about that.
Well, at this juncture, I do not have a formal response to share. I can say whatever we offer is open to individuals that choose to participate. Sometimes a barrier for students are they're in class while things that we're doing are happening. And so it would just maybe a matter at some point to revisit the timing of some events, but oftentimes that can be a potential barrier, I guess I would say, is the time of day, no matter if it's SPEDTex or Child Find Network or which transitions, student-centered transitions, whatever network that may be, the timing of that activity versus the school day hours, and how that child would have the opportunity to participate, of course, with parent permission. But at this juncture, I don't have anything formal to add to that in terms of a response.
Well, man, I am just so impressed with SPEDTex these days. And I'll tell you, I wish we could keep you on the rest of the afternoon and pick your brain and become experts on SPEDTex like you are, Dr. Whitley. But I know we all are busy folks, and we probably have reached the limit of time that you can honor us with. And so, Pam, Jen, Evan, do y'all have follow-up questions? Where do you think we are with this whole thing?
I'm just like to thank Tracy for being here with us and sharing all the resources that SPEDTex offers. And ultimately, there's just more there than last time I've been on the site. So I'm totally blown away.
Well, thanks everybody. This has been awesome. I know that this is going to be a great episode. I know that our listeners will really benefit from better understanding really what they can get out of SPEDTex and when they should turn to SPEDTex for supports and resources and information. And so thank you, Dr. Whitley, for joining us, and Evan for setting this whole thing up. And of course, SPEDTalk and SPEDTex, and I mean, you can't go wrong when you combine the two. So we really appreciate everything that you contributed.
All righty. Well, I appreciate y'all for having us, and thank you for your time as well. And y'all have a good day.
John, tell everyone how they can continue to elevate the conversation about special education in Texas.
You got it, Pam. They can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at SPEDTalk 2020. Because in these disconnected times, connecting with others has never been so important. Now more than ever, it takes courage to create culture and kindness to keep us connected. If you enjoyed this episode of Sped Talk, be sure to share it with a friend, because information should always flow through us, not to us. We couldn't do this without you, our listeners, and we need your help sharing the amazing transformation occurring in special education. Together, we can change the trajectory of learning opportunities in Texas for students with disabilities. If you have ideas, information, or resources that you think we should share on an upcoming episode of Sped Talk, let us know at SPEDTalk 2020 on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And be sure to like our page while you're there. Oh yeah, and if you get a chance, please consider giving us a positive review on the podcast platform that you listen to Sped Talk.
Living in the moment, and the moment is the future.